How are you? So, it's about that time. About that time. Oh, goodness. So, let me talk about this. Liam King. Liam, poor little Liam King. Now, Liam King, if you're not familiar with this case, been talking about it the last couple of days. Um, Liam King, sorry, trying to get things out of the background. Liam King is a 7-year-old child missing out of Asheboro, North Carolina. He is a nonverbal autistic child, and he went missing on Sunday. Now, that's bad enough just right there. And then circumstances start coming out. He went missing. How did he go missing? Well, he was left alone outside and he wandered off. What? Who would do that? So, make a long story short, Sunday he went missing. He went missing at 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Amber Alert went out around 7 p.m. Sunday night. FBI came in on Monday to help with the search, and they recovered his body, at about 10:15 this morning. So here are the things that are kind of messed up with this case. We got a full description of him. We find out, mom and boyfriend like to leave him to his own devices. And, he liked to play alone outside by himself a lot, which is something you never do with a child that is autistic. You just don't do it, especially ones that are not verbal. So there's that. And then you find out he likes water. Okay. So the first thing they do in this search is they bring out the canine unit and they start checking the ponds that are closest to this friend's house that the mom, the boyfriend were at. And the canine unit gets no scent whatsoever. None. Which I thought was kind of bizarre. But, from what I understand, canine units can be hit or miss. So, all right. So they go and check one pond. They drain the pond. They see nothing. They go to another pond. They check it. They see nothing. And then they're like, okay, we're going to go back and check again. And lo and behold, the first pond they checked the first one that they checked the day before, Liam's body is laying there on the bank of the pond. Not in the water, but on the bank. So how did he end up there if he wasn't there the day before? Riddle me that. I will say this, there are so many inconsistencies with this case, it's very concerning. You have first, you're saying that people were saying the mom and the boyfriend were together at the house with a friend and left the kid alone. Then you're finding out that the mom wasn't there and it was the boyfriend with the kid at the friend's house alone. Canine units don't find anything. Randolph County Sheriff's Department is turning away civilians from searching for this child, which makes no sense. And here's the biggest kicker: the pond he was found at was 1/10 of a mile away from where he went missing from. 1/10 of a mile. And for those of you who don't do math and want an idea what that is, 1/10 of a mile is 528 feet. 528 feet. That's like going from, I don't know, from here to my driveway or whatever. I mean, that's 500 feet right there. 528 feet. Now, it's possible he could have been out wandering around all this time. They just kept missing him. That is a possibility. But when you look at the mom's social media over the last few years, she talks about how she does all these positive affirmations for autism. The first couple years he's around, and then the last couple years, it's like, I'm overwhelmed. I need a break. I'm burned out. I'm this, I'm that. And all of that is fair because when you raise a child with special needs, it takes a lot out of you. I would know. I have an adult child that is autistic. He is 25. And there are days. But, my child is very verbal and not as compared to Liam, way more low support needed for him. But when he was young, he would have the tendency to just take off and run, and we always had to keep a hand on him. This child had been reported running off a couple of times and had been found and brought back to the parent or to the mom 3 different times. And there was another time a neighbor found him and brought him back. So that's not including all the other times that he got loose and they went and found him themselves. So if you know he has a history of running off like this when he's alone, why would you let him outside by himself intentionally? Make that make sense. I don't get it. I have a sneaky suspicion that this is gonna turn into something like Emmanuel Harrow or Summer Wells or Evelyn Boswell, something like along those lines. You know, I wanna be wrong. I want this to be a pure incompetence thing and not a vicious, malicious murder thing. I don't want that. Um, Because as it stands, I mean, the autopsy is gonna give more details and probably really shed more light as to where the investigation needs to go. And it's gonna be some time before we get that, because 'cause they're gonna have to see how he died. Did he drown? Did he eat something he shouldn't have? He was in the woods. He was in the forest. And, there's mushrooms and berries that are toxic. If he didn't know, he's gonna eat things and that could have killed him. I don't know. But now he could have been bit by a snake. I mean, anything could have happened. They got copperheads all over North Carolina. So, water moccasins, I forgot about them too. Yeah, he was by a pond, so he could have very well run into a nest of water moccasins or something. God, I hate snakes. Ugh. So, I just don't know. I mean, my most frustrating aspect of this is the fact that this entire thing could have been prevented. And I had people in the comments on here and Facebook and all that saying nobody needs to come down on the parents. Yeah, you can have that opinion if you want, you know? Until you raise a special needs child, you don't have to say anything. I have, so I have in my opinion, I have the right to cast judgment because I know what it takes. I've been there, done that, still doing that, you know? I will always have a child with special needs to the day I die. Because not one day he's gonna wake up and say, "Not be autistic anymore." That's just the way it is. He thinks he's gonna not gonna be autistic anymore because he used to say, "Hey, mom, remember when I used to be autistic?" I'm like, "Dude, you're still autistic." We've had that conversation a couple times. He's a funny guy, but, like I said, this whole thing could have been prevented. All she had to do was be a parent. That's all she had to be, a parent. This could have been prevented. So, legally, I think if anything, bare minimum, she and the boyfriend are gonna get charged with the bare minimum of maybe child endangerment or neglect, one of those 2. But if they up the charges, it could be manslaughter if they really wanna push it. I think again, it's gonna come down to what the autopsy reveals. Because right now, they have not said how he died. They just know that he is dead. They haven't said how. So once they do the toxicology and everything else, it's gonna be weeks, if not months, before they put it to a point where it's publicly being released. Um, they'll get to the detectives long before Joe Schmo me is able to see it. But it's like I don't want him to have died nefariously or horribly or whatever, but I don't want him I'm just so darn angry that this mother did this, that this boyfriend did this, that they just took their eyes off of him and let him just go wander. Because if it was like a one-time thing, okay, mistakes happen. But the fact that this has been documented multiple times of them doing this, that's a huge problem. And my other thing is, okay, if they're doing this, where's Child Protective Services? Why weren't they out there talking to these people and saying, you can't do that for XYZ reason? You just can't do that. You know? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, there has to be some accountability here, and it has to be on the parents or parent, mom and boyfriend, because the dad is just, I don't know what his deal is, but he wasn't around. So you can't blame him. But mom needs to have a massive wake up call, you know? I mean, not everyone is equipped to deal with a child with special needs. It's just the unfortunate truth. It's draining, it's exhausting, it's mentally exhausting, so not everybody is able to deal with that. And there were things that could have been done. I'm sure there was a relative that would have taken him without a problem, or organization that could have come in and help, because those exist. They do. They have a lot of support programs, especially for younger families. It's when they tend to get a bit older, like adults, you tend not to have anything. So, but for kids, yeah, there's all kinds of things. So I don't know why they didn't reach out for that. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, this whole thing with not a man, Liam King has got me pushed to my breaking point. This is just not a good thing. Not a good thing. And there's a lot of speculation. People are calling the sheriff of Randolph County, North Carolina, incompetent, corrupt. There's a lot of that being thrown around. Um, but I definitely think there's more to this story. And I don't think it's just as simple as him just walking away. Because my thing is, why did the canines not get any scent? How is it that he wasn't at the pond than he was at the pond? I because I don't think that baby was wandering around for 2 days and then just died. I don't know. Like I said, I the medical examiner's report's gonna be key in this. It really is. So, alright, well, I've drone on long enough about this, and, I mean, 528 feet. 528 feet, that's all they how the hell they missed him. So, Liam King deserves justice. Liam King deserves our prayers, and Liam King did not deserve to be dead. But this is Rebecca with Red True Crime. I'm gonna hop off here. I'll be back a little bit later to talk about, the Ukrainian woman that was stabbed to death on the Charlotte train. Um, Crazy case, and that didn't need to happen either. But, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Share, comment, like, all that good stuff, and, say your prayers for Liam and hug your children. And as I always say, be weird, be rude, be safe, and thank you for tuning in. Bye.